Hey everyone, Saturday time, Pocket Change Market Report coming to you for January 25, 2025. Yeah, we got a few days remaining here in the month of January. Things are, how we say it, plugging along, not very consciously, I can tell you that for sure. Considering that this whole month has been just a blur, between collectors waiting for those first coins to drop with a 2025 date, which has been virtually non-existent. But have no fear, that's going to change here pretty soon, as the first American Woman quarter for 2025 is slated to drop on February 5th, I believe. So one way or the other, we will see the first 2025 coin here within the next, I don't know, week and a half, somewhere around there. So that's exciting news. But still no Lincoln cent, Jefferson nickel, or Roosevelt dime, which is quite strange for the usual. I guess expected drops. Normally we see these particular coins kind of pop out mid-January, and we're just not seeing it. So could there be some things happening that is preventing the production of these circulating coins? Aside from the news that Musk wants to do away with a penny, I don't think that had anything to do with it. But more importantly, the 2026 semi-quincentennial event might be skewing some of the production scheduling on there. I don't know. We'll see. But we don't have to wait too long for the first 2025 coin to drop. So we'll take a look at all of the coins that have sold here on eBay. Both yours and mine and everybody else's. Coins just literally found out in change, out in circulation, out in the world. Coin shops and shows will have some of these as well that you could cherry pick and resell, make money. And that's how we do it. The PCMR has always been that reliable, up-to-the-minute pricing barometer for a lot of folks to use in today's market. All right, so we'll check that out there. I want to let you guys know the Whatnot calendar of events. Okay. Again, we have that pretty big 1 ounce gold eagle giveaway beginning March 4th. It's a run for 90 days, and then we'll do some giveaway type of announcements on the very last day of that quarter. So definitely, if you haven't done so already, come join us. You can take part in that, and you can come away with $2,600 in gold. Damn, that's a lot of money. Who would not want 1 ounce of gold today? And guys, there's 2 QR codes, one for left-handed people, one for right-handed people. I include everybody. Go ahead and scan it in with your phone, sign up under me, and I'll give you $15 today off anything that you buy on the platform, right off the rip. So look no further. Again, we have shows every Friday. That's going to increase greatly once March rolls around. Giving away silver every stream. And we are on 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. So yeah, please do check us out there, and let's have fun. All right, let's go ahead and jump into these listings. Again, all the coins are all ungraded. These are all within the last 24 to 36 hours of realized sales straight from eBay. Again, you're going to see a lot of coins that we have covered before. Where's the market on these? How do you find them? We'll talk about it. 1995 Lincoln Memorial Set. We know about this one. This is one of the most common varieties today. The doubled die obverse FS101. The FS101 is the Cherry Picker's Guide variety catalog number for this particular variety. This one right here, ladies and gents, kicked off a whole revolution of hunting. It was featured on the news back in the day when it was first discovered. Granted, at that time, dealers were buying these for like $300 to $500 a pop, so there was a lot more skin in the game to try and find these. But after months and a few years, come to find out that these are actually quite common. And they're still being found today right out of change. So if you're there on the East Coast and you're an avid Lincoln Cent hunter, chances are you might come across one of these. When I was living on the East Coast back 20 years ago, I found some of these. They are not particularly hard to look for. I'm gonna guess that the mint probably cranked out maybe 500,000 of these. But in today's market, they're still worth a rather fair chunk of money. And if you guys need to know what this thing looks like, the doubling is crazy on the word liberty, as you can see here. Just the separation is uncanny. And the motto, "In God We Trust," will show a fair amount of that doubling as well. This one ended up selling for $61.24. And the coin is in phenomenal shape. A nice higher end, I would say gem condition, mid-state 65, 66 level coin here. And, at that high grade level, rest assured that, the price will still be very reasonable for folks who want to add this one to their collection. If you wanted a true blue, class 1 double to die, this is the one right here. And I would certainly pick this one up to add to the collection as kind of like something to use to identify specific doubling of this particular class. It's that crazy. The next one that we have here, we do have a couple pieces of currency in the mix today. 1981 $1 bill, showing a very, very, very nice note that has some circulation wear on there. Let's not forget that star notes are not being produced anymore. Look for those, resell them. Fancy serial numbers is a huge aspect to paper money collecting that's been blowing up here in the last few years. Look out for those as well. But paper money error should be the third thing you look for. You're going to have a whole laundry list of items to look for when you're searching through bank straps and things like that. This one right here, when we flip it over, big old huge ink smear on the left side. And the one thing you got to know on the ink smears is that the ink smear will have the corresponding side color. So when we flip this thing over, we better not see a black ink smear. It's going to be green 100% of the time. The same way that on the front of the note, if there's an ink smear, it will be black. All right, so it has to match up there. These right here, pretty valuable. Not the most valuable paper money error you'll come across. This one did sell for $56.79 off of 11 total bids for this piece. The next one that we have here is a 1988A $5 Federal Reserve note. This one right here, another great paper money error, and always be on the lookout. This is going to involve you guys actually looking at both sides of the note. And I've come to find out that this particular error can be found on even the much more recent printings of within the last 10 years. So again, another reason why you should be looking through your paper money. This particular one faces up very well. It looks to be a nice AU condition note, but when we flip it over, it's got a really light, but it's 100% front to back wet ink transfer. And that's about all you could ask for is, at least the transfer. This one's nice and light. Everything's mirrored as you would expect for a wet ink transfer. And it's complete end to end. This note right here sold for $150.29, coming off of 33 bids. So quite an active auction here. I would say as long as you're using the correct terminology in your listings and you set these up for like 7-day list, then you're going to have no problem commanding the full attention of the market for such pieces. These are very desirable today. Next one that we have here is one that I'm sure that a few of you have found before, in 2006 North Dakota State Quarter. It's a Philadelphia struck example. This one, if you look at the reverse right around K4 or the 4 o'clock position on that particular side, you're going to see a raised blob anomaly. Okay, they call that a cud die break. And that's where a piece of the die had cracked and fell out. And when it strikes coins during that heavy strike, the pressure will allow all the metal flow to go into that empty cavity, creating a raised event from the rim and going into the design, as you see here. This particular one sold for $16.99. There are a few state quarters like West Virginia and a few others. Colorado is another big one where you can find these cud die breaks pretty regularly. So they are out there. They sell. They don't sell for tons of money as you would expect cuds to sell for because these are one of the more common ones to find in change today. Really pretty off-center strike. This one has the look of a coin that could grade out very high if given the opportunity. Now, grading, as you know, is not a necessity for mint errors. They speak for themselves. They tell the tale. They really don't need to be in a graded holder unless you want them to be in there for your own safekeeping. 1997 Lincoln cent. This one is off-center struck outside the collar by about 30-35%. Quite a strong one here. This one ended up selling for $54.95 with 27 bids, or 29 bids rather on this one. So again, another active auction. And what people love about these, aside from really nice condition, is going to be a full readable date. And if a mint mark is there, like a Denver mint mark, they'll be able to see that as well on this piece. And again, they're collected by date, and that's what makes them so popular. Another great one here. Let's not forget that this is a huge one. I actually put the 1960D Lincoln cent as being the top 3 most desirable coins of any type, however you find it, whether it's BU rolls or you find them at change. These have been the hottest ticket here in just the last few years. You guys need to know about it. Well, someone did find one of the big varieties on a 1960D Lincoln cent. This particular one right here is what we call the dual variety type. It's the small over large date. It's referred to as a doubled die. And it's also a repunch mint mark. So this one right here is cataloged in the Cherry Picker's Guide as being both the FS101 for the doubled die. Check out the 0. You can actually see the small 0 over the large 0. This is also the FS501 for the RPM. You can actually see the shadow of a D right above the primary Denver mint mark on this one. This one right here, pretty decent shape. It's a nice BU condition, probably a mint state 63 if I had to guess. Not the craziest looking grade specimen I've seen. Sold for $85.97. So again, it's a very valuable chaser out there. There's a lot of collectors, of course, for Lincoln cents as a whole, and this is one of the primary targets of the Memorial Series. So look out for these. You're going to have no problem selling them, and they will command a really top flight market for them. All right, the next one that we have here, again, always look through your scrappy dappy silver. You might find something that's going to amplify the value of your scrap silver by a huge deal. 1923 peace dollar with a very simple, very shallow clip right at the top there. If you're looking right above Liberty, right above Liberty's head there, a little shallow sheet clip is what we have there. The coin also exhibits, what we call Blakesley effect, which is a flattening of the rim on the opposite side of where that clip is. While not particularly necessary, it certainly helps, for us to gauge whether or not it is a legitimate clip. So when we look at this coin, it is quite common of a date. 1923 is actually, if I'm not mistaken, the highest mintage out of all the peace dollars. However, this particular one right here can still be obtained for right around $30 in a BU condition, a generic BU mint state 62 or 3 like this one here. This one sold because of the mint error for $99.99. You could sell this thing for $100, turn around and buy 2 more peace dollars, maybe a third one. You never know. I know I've come across peace dollars that are quite nice, albeit common dates like 1922 and 23, 24, 25, those dates, for right around $25 to $27. So again, there's opportunity here. If you're a good cherry picker, you know what you're looking for. Just looking for little things like this that exist out there and then flipping them for 3 to 4 times what you paid for them is the epitome of what success is flipping on eBay. Yeah, quite small here. If you don't know what you're looking for, some will think that this is damage. It's a 1989P Washington quarter, double struck. So the secondary strike is struck about 99% off center. It's nothing too crazy, nothing really redeemable about it because there's no design off on that secondary strike. But yeah, even something as minor as this will add a ton of value to a coin that has very, very minimal amount of gain. This one ended up selling over the weekend for $40 off of 8 bids. I've seen other double strikes, and this one seemed to have done really well, for as minor as it is. There were a few of these that were also highlighted on this show. A 2000p Sacagawea dollar. These are the Wounded Eagle reverses, also known as the FS 901. They are a true cherry picker's guide specimen. And one that is actually very, very findable. If you have rolls of these, or you know where you can grab a lot of these, considering it was the highest minted Sacagawea dollar because it was the promotional item for what is going to be the new composition. They call them the gold dollars back in the day. Ended up being a very high mintage date. And because of that, there's still tons of these out there, especially in nice condition. This particular one right here, if you look up close to the breast of that eagle, you can see a couple of raised lines that are going through there. They look like spears. And that's how they get either the Wounded Eagle or the Speared Eagle nickname to them. And these, again, quite valuable. If you find them, you got some money in your hands. $129.51 was the sale price on this one. We have one more coming up of the same type. And how often do we come across a misaligned die statehood quarter? I would say probably once every couple years. I haven't seen one in a long time, and we have this nicer condition Virginia state quarter. It's a 2000p coming from our good old Philadelphia Mint. The mistake-prone Mint employees, as we call them. You can tell on the reverse, nice off-center, but on the front of the coin, it is perfectly well-centered and struck as such. So that's what misaligned dies is. Off-center on one side, centered on the other. This particular one right here, the market kind of did adorn to these because misaligned dies really don't get all that due that they deserve. This one sold for $26 off of 7 bids, which is really great to see. See this kind of market for pieces like this that otherwise it has gone on unappreciated, and it's just not right. We need to see more of these. And a pretty nice giant-sized cut die break on this Lincoln cent. 19 from the 1900s. There's no readable date, obviously, on this one because the big cut die break is covering the date and then some. You can see actually the corresponding weakness on the reverse, which is neat. Yeah, that's exactly what you want to see here on these. So this one right here, again, not at all surprised that the sold price at $129.51, thereby kind of making the case that this is still one of the most consistent markets for this particular era, bar none. They are quick, easy cash. Cuds are kings. I've said it once, and I'll continue to back up that statement. And another error type that's beginning to take a little bit more popularity out there is woody coins or improper alloy mix, as its name suggests. The very small, negligible amount of tin or zinc that they added to the copper mix, well, it didn't quite mix out that way. And when it doesn't, it produces a really cool looking kind of like wood graining effect on the finished product, whether that's Lincoln Sense or an improper alloy mix on nickels will create a similar pattern to that as well. 1931 is what we have here on this one, and it's a very common date for wood grainers, but this one sold for $14.95. We have to keep in mind that this was a hard sell like 5, 6, 7 years ago for a buck. It's just at the time there was no need or desire, nor was there a market or a collectible kind of like pattern that we had to go off of to suggest that these were being collected. It just didn't exist. There were probably a few people that were into it, and the earlier adopters were able to grab a hold of like much rarer dates of the wood grainers, and today they are enjoying all sorts of success by reselling them or just having a really epic collection of them. And here's our other wood Wounded Eagle Sacagawea. This one actually looks just a hair bit better. They're from the same seller, so somehow, some way, they ended up with a couple of really nice high-grade specimens. Again, it's the FS901 if you needed a refresher there. And there's our raised spear-looking gouges on there. They are actually raised. They are in relief. You can actually rub your finger over it. It'll actually feel like a line on there. So this one right here sold for the same price as his other one at $129.51. Good money here on these. Another wood grainer. This one, I believe, and the pictures don't really show this one that well, is on a mint state 1941 coin. So this one is nice and bright and red, but it shows the darker kind of like brown striations through them. So this is kind of like what a mint state wood grainer would look like, in case you guys are interested or if you're curious. Kind of nice. By the time you have like the big chunky, brown layers on there, it kind of gives it that zebra or, tiger stripe appearance to it. And that, people do love these that way. This one, $34.75, and someone took this home here over the weekend. So again, the market starting to find its legs on wood grainers. I would let you guys know, be on the lookout. I even seen a couple dealers that are beginning to label their 2x2s for wood grain coins and asking a little bit better premium for them. So even the coin dealer markets are privy to these, and they will mark them up appropriately so that way they can make a few bucks off of them as well. 2009. Yes, this is a rather modern dated note, right? $1 bill. Now, what are we looking at here? It's a nice piece, probably AU. It's got a few wrinkles I could see. And this is one that you would not think you would find on a note of this modern age here. A front to back wedding transfer. That's what it looks like on a modern $1 bill or $2 bill or $3 bill, right? So yeah. There's no $3 bills, I know. But yeah, this is a full front to back wedding transfer on a $2009 bill. Consider your minds blown, guys. You just never know what you're gonna find, right? This one here, because of that, because we know that modern notes don't really have these kind of earlier errors. Yeah, the sale was good. $169.08 here on this one with 37 bids. So, hate to say I told you so, but, here's another common date piece dollar. Boy, this one had been around a block. It's a scrap mid piece. If you were looking through a bunch of silver dollars, in hopes of finding something decent, this is probably, what you would find. Just really rough, used and abused coins. But if you look on the reverse, right on the eagle there, the eagle's wing edge, that's a strike through. It's anybody's guess what it could be. It could be a detached lamination from another coin. It could be a metal scrap of some sort. Hard to say. But it looks damn good. And, it's those little things that some people, most people usually, will look at that and say, oh, yeah, that thing, took a hit, But it didn't. Because it's got no push through to the other side if it did take a hit. And it's got very clean edges, too. So this one sold for $39. So, assuming that this person bought this and cherry picked it for $25 to $27, they made $10 there. So, not too bad, not the greatest, but you'll take all sorts of profit because they all go into one bucket, and boy, does that thing fill up fast. 1921 S Buffalo Nickel. Talk about one of your tough semi-key dates. So originally, the person put this one on here with no error designator, but after looking at it for a while, it's got a lamination issue, both on the obverse and reverse of the coin. You can see detachments, you can see, attached lamination pieces, or what they call retained, still on there. And a tough date, too, to boot. It's got a full readable date, which is what you want to see. And $57.99 later with 24 bids, and this one is going to end up going away to a collector that wants it. Yeah. Have you guys seen one of these before? This is if George Washington kind of like carried over into an episode of The Walking Dead. That's what we have here. This is by far the craziest strike through that I have ever seen on a modern American women quarter, bar none. And probably anything else from the National Park series. Guess what? This thing just kind of like toe tapped its way into a huge sale on eBay just in the last 12 hours. And nobody was talking about it. And even after the sale had concluded, guess what? Nobody was talking about it. Now, this thing ended up this thing is pure straight up fire. I wish I would have seen it. I would have been a heavy favorite to own this one. And I've been known to toss money at ridiculous coins. This is one of them here. Now, this is an error type that is not very new to us. We've seen quite a few of these, what they call field-restricted strike-throughs. This thing is just a complete friggin' mess, and I love it. On the Jovita Adar reverse quarter there, love it or hate it, that's what it is. So, yeah, $154.39. This puppy is to end up to a new home. My goodness, I wish there was another one out there that I could buy for that price. It's crazy. Now, there's probably going to be a mad dash for other people to try and look for this quarter, but this might be a one-time event. I have a feeling that this was found very, very early on with all that grease and crap on that die, and they had to clean it up. And no doubt about it. This was not going to stand the way it sits. This thing is just, oh my God, it's insane. It's unlike anything that I've ever seen here recently. Here's another wood grainer. Yeah, wood grainers making more of an appearance on these PCMRs. 1937 this time around. Nice, attractive. And what makes it attractive is it's double-sided. Sometimes you find woodies that are single-sided, whether it's on the obverse or the reverse. The double-sided ones are definitely the ones to go after. They have more appeal than the single-sided ones. This one sold for $13.95. Again, very common date for these. 1949D, Lincoln Cent. Okay, so for the most part, all the black that you see on both sides is staining. All right, so it's not a perfect coin. It does have some condition issues. But check out the strike through there on the obverse, right where the date and Lincoln's jacket is. Again, that's pretty crazy there. When you think about coins that have released over the years and never found, it really truly presents a treasure hunt. This particular coin sold for $19.95. Can you imagine finding something and just casually selling it for $20? I mean, that's a ticket. And that's how this whole eBay kind of business thing works, is you look for coins like this that you can resell. Holy misalignment, Batman, on this 1969A $20 Fed Reserve note. The whole overprint is shifted way to the right. Yeah, so that probably happened to every single note on that subject sheet. And I don't know if they caught a lot of them and destroyed them, replaced them with star notes, or if they allowed every single one of them to go into circulation. But yeah, that's this one here to a T. The reverse looks like normal. So if you're not flipping the note over, shame on you. You got to look at the total picture, guys. So this one sold for a hefty amount of money to the tune of $362 with 15 bids. When the misalignment is that off kilter, expect the money to go along with it. Okay, and then the final item for today, another one that we just don't see out there, a off-center Susan B. Anthony dollar, 1979 P this time around. Oh man, be still my beating heart. You know, these are even less frequently found than an Eisenhower off-center strike. So, yeah, a really nice one here. Again, a decent price tag, $97.50 with 8 bids. Again, I would love to have been a fly on the wall when this one came into its waning last seconds of the auction. I would have thrown a bid in, because I've never owned things like this. And if it's less than $100, shoot, that's a great deal there. But for the person that found it, it's good amount of money too. So there you go. That's it for the weekend edition of the PCMR. The information today in this video is for educational purposes only, not financial advice. Please do collect and or grade your coins responsibly. I'm your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge Silverhound. I hope to see you guys later on another great coin video. We've been banging them out, baby, and I hope you guys have been enjoying them. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Come check us out on Whatnot as we get closer to that March 4th date. It's going to be the excitement and the stir of activity is going to be off the charts. And I want you guys to be there for it. So I will see you guys next time. Take care and keep on collecting.